This is lesson 5.73, and in this lesson we're just going to go over some of the miscellaneous functions here inside of the FM-4. Now, if you haven't watched my video on the Polysynth and expression controls, this is almost going to be a verbatim copy of that, because you see here in the Polysynth we have a velocity, a key tracking, a timbre, a mod wheel, and an aftertouch control. Inside of the FM-4, velocity, key tracking, mod wheel, aftertouch, timbre, really going to be the same thing. But let's start with this LFO. This LFO is hardwired to the synthesizer, meaning that if I decide to use it, I can only use it on things inside of the synth. So here's just this default patch. Pull the sustain up. So if I want to set this to the modulation depth here on operator 2, I can do that. I can turn retrigger on, so as I'm playing up and down the keyboard, especially if we slow this down, if retrigger is on, it will always start from the same point. And you can see that there, which in this case is like 0 based on the depth I set. We also have this bipolar on or off mode. Right now we're working in bipolar, meaning that when I pull up the depth, it's actually compensating both up and down. In this situation, it's only going to be going up from the parameter if bipolar's off. So you can hear that there. We can also change the phase. So that's a good example when retrigger is enabled. If phase is somewhere else, we'll always start from that point in the phase, as opposed to starting from 0. Okay, and we could change the depth here if we're not happy about how far we've set the depth ourselves manually. Sync this to time and beats, or we can keep it in free running mode. All of this is pretty much review for us. Let's move over to the expression controls. We have velocity. Velocity is going to adjust any one of these parameters based on how hard or how soft we hit a key. So what I'll do is I'll pull this modulation depth down, and I'll just set velocity to a few different things in here. And now we can hear what happens. So that's a big difference. And now if I just go in here and play a couple of quick notes, I could go in, double click, go down here and turn on my expression controls. I can go to velocity, and now I can go ahead and just set these. Turn that annoying thing off. And what we'll be able to do then is hear the variation. Okay, so that's what velocity is going to do. Not all that exciting. I need to just go in here and clear all of these. Hopefully I remember where I set them all. And clear. All right, perfect. We have key tracking. We've already looked at this, but key tracking can be applied to more than just the filter cutoff. It could be applied to really anything you want in here. Let's remember, though, that if we apply key tracking to our coarse tuning, that's actually probably going to put the instrument out of tune because key tracking is already being applied there. However, we could apply it to our offset. Let's set it up to like 12. So now our offset value is going to follow along as we play up and down the keyboard, which normally it does not do that, okay? So this is like kind of a specialty thing you can do if you want. And my guess is if we started from scratch and somebody could maybe do this, pull it up to 440 and then try to find a key tracking value that actually works as you play up and down the keyboard. It's going to be a struggle, but you might be able to do that. And now we could listen to what happens. Let's also just set it to this modulation depth as well. So as we play higher up the keyboard, we're going to see this amount increase. All right, or at least least hypothetically, that's what should be happening with the key tracking. After that, we have the mod wheel. So if you have a mod wheel on your MIDI controller, you'll know what that is. I can set that to this. And also let's set it to this just for fun. So now as I play a note, and if we record that in, I'll let you know where you can adjust the settings. So what we can do here is open this up, go into our automation controls. CC1 is the place to go. And if you weren't happy, you could actually just draw something in yourself. And in addition, you can add curves by holding down Option. All right, so maybe we want that to do this. Like so. So let's just go ahead and clear those two. Up next, we have Aftertouch. You have to be really careful with Aftertouch because it doesn't seem to record in for whatever reason. So in live performance, if you want to use a bit of Aftertouch, feel free to do so. But for recording in, it just doesn't work. So if I pull this up here, we can hear it live. So this is just me changing the pressure on the key as I play and hold it down. But if we record that in, I stop it, I try to play it back, nothing's happening. And where this should be recording into is channel pressure, so it might just be something wrong with my keyboard, or there's actually something wrong with the program. But I could still dial this in manually if I wanted, in which case, though, I might as well just use automation. This is kind of silly, right? But we can now listen. And we can see it moving down here. Wonderful. Let's delete that, delete the clip, and turn that off from Aftertouch. We also have a Tambor control, so this is very unique to things inside of the synthesizer. It's not really used for live playback, but it's kind of cool for MIDI editing, so we could adjust a few things on here. Why not get crazy with it, right? All right, this isn't really a practical example, but if I play something in here, I could go in, double click, again, go down to these expression controls, select the timbre option, and now I could really go ham with this, and we can even add additional breakpoints. Whatever you want to do. And if you want, you can use option in here, and you could make some curves. Bloop. Curves are where it's at. It's like we're making some Egyptian hieroglyphs in here, but not really. All right, lovely. And now we can take a listen to this. All right, so that's kind of cool. I'm going to go ahead and just reload in this preset that it comes with. Or I'll just delete it and edit it again so we can talk about our last couple of controls here. We already know what mono is going to do. It's going to make it so I can only play one key at a time. No matter if I try to play chords or if I try to press down on everything on the keyboard, it's only going to play one note at a time. We have here our single trigger, and if you're curious as to what that does, Bitwig themselves say don't re-trigger envelopes when played legato. This is very simple, so if I go in here, add in envelope 2 to this guy, set the sustain way low, we can watch and see what happens. So if I try to play legato and this is enabled, it's not going to re-trigger that envelope. It's going to keep it way down here. And sadly, we can't hear anything, so I have to pull the sustain up, I guess. So you can hear what's happening as I try to play up the keyboard there. As opposed to turning this off and then I'm playing legato, meaning that I'm overlapping my notes, and each and every time that envelope is being re-triggered. Now we come to kind of the mysterious control here, the FG. Now, as far as I know, the FG is identical to the LG, which stands for legato glide, meaning only glide when played legato. So if we turn glide up right now, it's going to glide between notes no matter what. So right now I'm not playing legato, but if I was, we can hear that glide kicking in every time. If I enable this FG setting, then if I'm just playing notes not legato, we can hear that we're not having any glide as compared to. So I'm not sure what this stands for. Fun glide, fixed glide, funky legato, fortissimo, glissando, excuse me. I have no idea what this actually stands for. And the weird thing is, this is the one thing in Bitwig I have yet to really figure out, is that some of the presets in here, if we go through these, some of them will have FG enabled and then they'll have a glide setting, and so everything makes sense to me. But then other times we have FG enabled, like here, and we don't have any glide occurring. So if I play notes, then I turn it off, I honestly have absolutely no idea what's happening with that on or off. So if somebody knows, please let me know, because I have absolutely no idea. It doesn't seem like anybody knows. So that's pretty much going to do it for this lesson. I hope that was helpful for you guys. Really, all just review from the Polysynth. But if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Thanks for watching. You'll hear from me again in the next lesson. Take care.